Hey guys, Aaron Garza with Pure Line Nutrition here. We've been getting a lot of questions about overall muscle growth. How can I put on more muscle? How can I increase my lean muscle mass while bringing my body fat percentages down? And you know, probably the easiest way of looking at this whole thing is by first assessing where you're at. So like with anything else, whether it be weight loss or getting a little more lean, we start you with our body analysis. We want to get you on our analysis machine, look at where you're at, look at what your lean muscle tissue is at versus your body fat ratio, and that's going to give us a place where we can start from, where we can decide whether or not we need to add muscle, how much muscle needs to be added, what your goals are basically, and it gives us kind of a baseline to shoot from at that point. So once we get that, the second thing we want to look at, of course, is what does your diet look like? Are you eating enough protein? Now, a lot of people, and there's such a controversy about how much protein to eat because a lot of people will say 1 gram, 1.5 grams per pound of body weight, even 2 and 2.5 grams per pound of body weight. Now, the studies are conclusive that if you are training with weights over a period of 1 to 2 or more weeks, you do need more protein than the average person. Now, whether you need more than a gram depends on a lot of variables. One of those variables is hormone levels. If you have the right amount of hormones floating through your body, including testosterone via prohormones or other testosterone boosters, then you will need more protein than the person who does it. But as a baseline, most people can get away with about 1 gram per pound of body weight. So that's kind of where you want to keep it. Now, the other key that we want to look at is, of course, your overall diet structure. Are you eating every 3 hours? And are your meals proportionately carbohydrates and proteins? So based on that, we can kind of look at that and see where you're at and then go from there. Now, one of the key things about putting on muscle mass, like I spoke about before, is making sure that you have the right amount of hormone activity or the correct hormone activity level going on in the body. I always recommend that people get a blood test first and check out, see where their testosterone levels are at. Guys are always kind of looking at their testosterone, but as we hit 35, our testosterone levels and a lot of other hormones tend to drastically decrease. I've spoken about this in a lot of my other videos. Now, we have 2 options that we can kind of look at to help increase those testosterone levels and thereby put on more lean muscle tissue. One of the options is, of course, using a natural testosterone booster, and the other option, which I haven't spoke about much on camera, is using a pro-hormone formulation. Now, Pure Line has a pretty extensive line of pro-hormone formulations. Number one reason being is that they do work, and number 2, we were able to produce a very clean pro-hormone that produces the right results with limited amounts of estrogenic side effects. Estrogen is also increased as we increase testosterone levels, and estrogen causes a lot of the water retention, the bloating, some of the secondary effects that can go along with increased testosterone. So by putting in the formulas that we knew would create the positives without the negatives, we've been able to establish a pretty clean line. So if you are looking to put on lean mass and you want to do it in the quickest way possible, a pro-hormone alternative may be something to look at. Now, in our line, we have several different pro-hormones, and I'm going to start with the base one, Testojet. Testojet is kind of our base pro-hormone. It is basically the bulker. It's a wet compound. When I say a wet compound, it's going to help people put on as much lean muscle tissue as any of the other compounds, but it's also going to put on a little bit of water retention. So this is good for the guy who is a little bit leaner and is ectomorphic, doesn't put on lean mass and weight too readily. This will help him put that weight on rather rapidly. It's actually a blend of 4 testosterones or 4 pro-hormones all in one product. Each bottle is a 1-month cycle. You take a capsule in the morning, a capsule in the afternoon, and you can run these for about 8 weeks before you need about a 4 to 6 week off period. Not because they're doing anything harmful to the body, but simply because, like anything else, the body will build up a resistance, and unless you escalate the dosage, you're not going to really see much effect from it. So I would say do 4 to 8 week cycles at the minimum with Testojet. Then we move into Epistane. Epistane is a little bit of a different compound. It's more for increasing lean mass and dropping body fat. Now, this product gets really rave reviews from a lot of our CrossFit athletes because it helps them put on the muscle tissue they want, but without adding any extra water retention. Again, it's a 2 per day product, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 4 to 8 week cycle. Very nice, clean muscle gains. You're not going to gain as much weight as you would with Testojet, but you will gain a good amount of lean muscle tissue. And again, 0 to minimal side effects while in this product. The third one we have in the line is something called Tren. Now, Tren has probably become the hottest selling pro hormone that we have in all of our stores, simply because it takes Testojet and Epistane, combines both of their qualities into one product, but without any water retention or any estrogenic side effects. So you basically get all the size, strength, and power that you would from Testojet with all the lean qualities and the minimal fat qualities that you would get from an Epistane, and you can combine them into the Tren. This is an excellent product. It's a 3-pill per day product, one in the morning, one at lunch, one in the late afternoon. And if you want to get really innovative, you can stack Tren with either Testojet or Epistane for even better results. We do have people out there who stack all three together for, again, 4 to 8 weeks and see absolutely phenomenal results. Now, we have 4 other products in the line. This one's called Testosterone, and Testosterone is more of a lean mass gainer, and I kind of call this a beginner product. It's got one ingredient in it, one pro hormone, and it's for somebody who's never experimented with pro hormones before. We have a lot of men who use this as a testosterone replacement therapy type product. It's going to get your testosterone levels back where they need to be, but not at an excessive amount. It's not going to increase muscle tissue or lean tissue by a ridiculously large amount, but it will give you some lean size gains. So if you're a person who kind of just needs to push the envelope a little bit, wants to put on a little bit of lean muscle, no side effects, really doesn't want to take anything too strong, Testosterone would be the formula that you would use. Now, Ecogain is basically meant and designed to be used alongside Testojet, Tren, Epistane, one of those 3 compounds, and it basically is going to help amplify the effect of the other products, help you put on a little bit leaner muscle tissue. Now, I like to recommend that people use Ecogain when they get to a point where maybe Epistane or Tren is no longer working and they need to change something up. Simply add in the Ecogain. Ecogain can also be used as a bridge between cycles. So, for example, you did Testojet, Epistane, or Tren for 4 to 8 weeks, and then you need to take a little bit of time off. You can pull in the Ecogain and use it as a bridge from one cycle to the other, because it's not a very strong pro-hormone, doesn't cause any adverse effects, and really won't do anything to increase liver enzymes or anything like that. So this can be used as a bridging compound. The next one we have is Stenobal. And again, Stenobal is also a single stacking agent. It's not designed to be taken alone. It's designed to be taken with any of the other pro hormones in our line or in our range. The last one is Decabolin, which is a kind of unique compound because the compound not only acts to help synthesize more protein, in other words, the more protein you eat, the more lean tissue you're going to put on, but it also has a really nice formula to increase the amount of fluid in the joint area so that you feel less pressure on your joints and tendons as you're increasing your weights and your rep schemes, etc. So again, this can be stacked with Testojet, Epistane, or Tren, and it just kind of allows for a different ingredient that you can kind of add into your pro-hormone combination to see the best results. Whether you choose 1, 2, 3, or even a 4-stack combination of pro-hormones, nothing will really happen unless the dietary platform is in place. And the first thing we recommend with the dietary platform, like we spoke about earlier, is making sure that you're getting enough clean protein and enough clean carbohydrates. One of the ways you can do this is by using a lean mass support system like Mesofactor 500. Now, Mesofactor is a typical meal replacement, but it's a little different than, let's say, our ProPlete, which is a lean gainer. The Mesofactor is the equivalent of eating a 10-ounce steak with 2 baked potatoes. It's a clean, bulking gainer, doesn't have any sugar, and the carbohydrates are complex carbohydrates, so it's really nice. It's not like your old school weight gainers with a lot of sugar, but it's also got a lot of calories, and the reason it has a lot of calories is because it's designed for people who are trying to put on muscle mass. Again, I try to keep everything at a point that it's got enough calories, but it doesn't have any additives like sugar and extra stuff that'll put on body fat, just good clean calories. Utilizing this probably 1 to 2 times a day, in addition to 2 or 3 solid meals, is a great way to increase your overall protein intake, your overall caloric intake, and ensure that you're getting all the nutrition necessary to put on lean mass. Whether you're taking a pro hormone or not, you've got to make sure the dietary platform, the baseline, is there so that you get in enough quality calories that are conducive to growth or lean muscle tissue stimulation. Now, secondary to that, if muscle growth is your actual goal, you need to include creatine and glutamine. These are just kind of our basic supplements that we always utilize, glutamine being mainly for recovery to help increase the rate that the body recovers from exercise and training at maybe 5 to 10 grams a day. There's a scoop in there. Each scoop has a 5-gram amount. You would want to add that to one of your shakes twice a day. Creolode is ultra pure German creatine monohydrate. Germans have for a long time been putting out the best creatine, and all the lab studies, it shows that when you're getting creatine, you're usually getting a Chinese creatine, a German creatine, and for a while there was some Australian creatine, and all the studies show that Germans are consistently putting out the highest quality amount of creatine, or the levels of creatine in their products. The German creatine is what we use in Creolode. It's an ultra-soluble micronized creatine monohydrate, and this will increase the amount of water inside the muscle cell, inside the muscle tissue, so that you're able to increase the loadage of your training, the poundages, etc. Again, this is best used at about 5 to 10 grams a day, and there is some science out there now that shows that the best time to use it is always post-workout, usually 5 to 10 grams in your post-workout shake. So these are kind of the basic things that we would utilize for increasing lean muscle mass. Of course, it doesn't go without saying that your training has to be intense enough to elicit a response. It needs to be intense enough so that the muscle tissue is broken down, and all these things can be put and used and work together to grow the muscle or cause growth of the muscle tissue. If you have any questions or you'd like to put on a little bit more lean muscle, I urge you to go by Pure Line Nutrition in McAllen, Brownsville, Corpus, or even our San Antonio location and ask about our menu that says put 15 pounds of dense lean muscle tissue on in just 30 days. This plan is a really precise plan that shows how to use some of the following supplements that we talked about, and will get you on the right track. I hope to see you soon. Until then, keep training.